This is my Sand Knight hybrid for the hybrid challenge that Sleepy Gemstone has made. Her name is Ashen because she wears all gray, and because she's a Sand Knight, she has a sort of dusty, dark look to her. She's very cold, stone-hearted. She was raised in the volcano Nightwing Kingdom. She always wondered what it would be like if she had lived in the Sand Kingdom. Her mother's name was Magma. It was a very odd name, and her father's name was Colton, an even weirder name. Neither of these names were very dragon-like, she thought to herself, and she never really met her parents. Her parents had been banished away, and the child had also been banished, but somehow she had been lost in the mix with the other children at some point in her life, and she had been raised alone, in a way. She didn't like hanging out with the other Nightwing dragons. The Nightwings weren't very nice to her, and they always called her names for no good reason. They said that hybrids were bad, and that the great, wonderful, amazing Nightwings were much better than any hybrid. Nobody knew how her parents had met, especially since the Nightwing Kingdom was meant to be a secret. Somehow, the Sandwing Colton had found his way there. Supposedly, it had been said that he and some others had been traveling, but they had killed the others, and then he had gone to hide with her mom, who ended up beginning to like him. And then he sort of just stayed there with her for a while until they were banished. Because when the Nightwing Queen found out about this treachery, as she said, she didn't want a Sandwing spy in their territory. So she banished both of them so that they could be together. But the child was taken away. Many thought that she had been banished, and apparently, she found out later on in life that she had been taken away by the Queen herself, because the Queen thought there might actually be some potential. She had brought her to Morrowseer a few times, trying to convince him. Hybrids weren't valued, and no one really liked hybrids. It was seen as a betrayal to all of dragonkind, basically. Her parents had probably been killed or slaughtered, or who knows, maybe they had lived on the island the whole time but just didn't escape. Once she got to the forest, she thought Deathbringer the King was very hilarious, and she didn't like the Rainwing. Sure, the Rainwing was a kind of good character to her, but she didn't like any Rainwing. Rainwings were seen as fluttery butterflies, and she kind of agreed. However, there was one Rainwing who was a hybrid just like her. She hadn't learned the Rainwing's name, but the Rainwing always seemed to follow her along all the time. When she did ask for the name, the Rainwing told her, but it wasn't what she expected. The Rainwing told her a lot about themselves, and the Rainwing said that their name was not from the Rainwing tribe. They were a hybrid, and because they were a hybrid, they hadn't been born in the rainforest either. She was shocked at this and almost wanted to continue being friends with them. So she decided not to say that they weren't friends and not to say that they were. That was her way of, I guess, keeping self-esteem, being the better Nightwing, as she was taught to be. The chains are sort of a symbolism that she wears to show off that her heart is a cage and she doesn't want anyone to mess with her. Which is unfortunate because when she was bullied and when she was younger, nobody wanted to be friends with her, and so she kind of just grew up thinking that was normal. Of course, she saw other groups of Nightwings that actually played games with each other, and she kind of wished she had that. But once she grew up, she decided that just wasn't a possibility. As a dragonette, she is older than a lot of the Rainwings who try to be friends with her, but the Rainwings aren't that bad, she supposed. Since they weren't in a war anymore, why worry about them being all, oh, butterflies and following everything, and, oh, so fluttery, oh, so innocent. Ugh. She still didn't like it very much, but she went along with it, as she did most things. She tried not to think of herself as a pushover, but she kind of hid the fact that she actually was. She did as she was told, as long as it was a Sandwing or a Nightwing telling her to do so. She had this great respect for Sandwings despite never meeting another one, and then one fateful day, she found the portal to the Sand King. That day, she went alone, no Rainwing with her, to discover what it was like out in the desert. She discovered cactus bombs, which were crazy. She loved them, but she wasn't going to use them. She never had been one to plot murder, especially since it wasn't really something that you should do in the kingdom. If you plotted one murder, well, Queen would have your head, or a more complicated situation, such as there not being any more Nightwings left. With the scarcity mindset, the Nightwings always tried to work together as best they could, or at least that's how it was where she lived. I really like this mood board, and I think it's definitely worked out to do a all gray character. I almost made the roses green and red, but I thought, hey, there's wither roses in Minecraft, why not make wither roses in Wings of Fire? Yeah, I know some people don't really like Minecraft, but I still think it's a fun connection, so I did it. Her name is Ashen because, as you can tell, she is very ash-colored, and despite it being very hard to find a good amount of different tones for her patterns, it's worked out. I'm very glad that I've begun doing this challenge, and I'm pretty sure I was supposed to do it in a different order, but I just really wanted to use this mood board, so I just chose a hybrid that matched it. If you want to know about the Rainwing friend, who's also a hybrid, that will be created later on in the series. You can go over to Sleepy Gemstone's YouTube account, and she has a community post that I'm pretty sure is permanent, where you can go get the graph. But yeah, I'll probably keep talking later, but I don't usually talk much while drawing. This brush is too small. I was thinking of making her wings with these beautiful star patterns on them. If you like dragons in general and not just Wings of Fire, then I can start posting more dragon videos. Just like this video and subscribe if you want more, I guess. I've read Wings of Fire, but I don't think that the rules of Wings of Fire tribes really have to be in all your dragons. You can make dragons however you want, and that's just how imagination goes. Make them like Wings of Fire, or you can give them spider legs. You can make them a Nightwing and a spider creature, I don't know. You can always mix worlds, and there's no reason to just follow one book series version of one. I also really like the idea of sand Nightwing things. At first, when I heard about the Nightwings, I thought they would be much cooler, but a lot of the characters like Starflight and Morrowseer and Darkstalker and Mastermind, I mean, don't get me wrong, Starflight has some good qualities, but Mastermind just is blurred. He doesn't see the morality and the ethics when it comes to trapping Rainwings and all that. So I kind of think that night creatures are just trying to seem cool. Now, I really like Rainwings, and I'm very excited to do that. I really like this character. I probably won't reuse designs, but I really like making designs, so maybe one day I'll do an OTA or something with these designs on them. I don't know. Ah, she's so pretty. These stars are so pretty. I really like this weird pattern thing I did. I have no idea why I did it or what it is, but kind of has a very unique shape to it, I guess. Also, thank you to the people who have subscribed to my channel. It makes me so happy to see another subscriber on there. And it also just makes me happy to see how many views I get. I know some people think 1,000 views is so low, but just 100 or 40 views even, they're so nice when you're beginning as a YouTuber. If you've read The Prince Warriors, there's this twist with the butterflies, and every time I look at dark butterflies that are like gray colored, it reminds me of that, and it's just hilarious. You should read The Prince Warriors. Okay, that looks nice. Sleepy Gemstone is a great YouTuber, and I'm always so happy when she sees my videos, because we're kind of on YouTube for the same reasons, and they have a surprising amount in common. So lately I've really been trying to study her art style to try to get better. I mean, obviously I'm not gonna completely change my art style, but there's just some things that make her art style so much more elegant. Thorn and Queen Glory, they're kind of the best queens. I know Queen Glacier was said to be a good queen, but I don't really know a whole lot about her, even though I read all of the books except the Darkstalker one, Dragon Slayer one. I guess those ones have a lot of context that I just haven't learned. Well, that's a wrap.